Bam! What is up, guys? We've got a fun show today. Today has been such a weird fucking day. Here, first let's try to make this happen. We're gonna make it so that I can see what's going on and who's speaking to me and all that kind of crazy shit. It's been a weird day because I had it set up so somebody else was gonna be here, but then turns out I was wrong, so I had to grab next week's guest and bring them in. Luckily they were super cool about that. Brian Medell, what up, my home fry? How you doing, homie? Good to see you, bud. All right, cool. That's already working. Yeah. Man, it's going to be a good time. Really excited. Tonight is going to be a super chill night. We're going to have fun. I'm going to be hanging out with my dude, Conner Bartel. He and I, you know what? We met basically like pretty much just before I published my own first book. And we have worked together on several books, and we've been tight for most of my career, actually. So really excited to sit down with him, talk about comics, how you create them, all that kind of stuff. Anybody else who's here? Yeah, Elfie's here. Good, man. Share it around. Come on in. Talk. Let's have fun. Please feel free to just have a blast in the chat, and let's just see where tonight goes, okay? So with that all said and done, I'm pretty sure that you guys know what time it is. Oh yeah. Oh, that's not it. Wow. Oh, okay. This is what time it is. Ba-bam.
Canadian bacon is actually really good, and it's nothing like normal bacon, and it's better than ham, which you guys seem to call Canadian bacon. I'm very good at writing. I write very well. Yeah, it's Shop Talk.
Do some of your audience members like the word fuck? Cool. Then I'm going to keep saying fuck because I care.
Bam! Conner Bartel's here. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing very good. What did Brian say? Don't you have to sell your soul to the old gods in order to make a comic? I mean, financially, yeah, it feels that way.
If you're the writer, yeah. If you're the artist, you just have to do hard slave labor.
Yeah, there really is. One is selling your soul, and the other is selling your body. Either way, you're fucking selling something, and it's all just for a shot. Like, yeah, you put shit out, but whether it's ever read or seen, it feels like a crapshoot. But obviously, it's not. There's kind of tips and tricks and things you got to do to try to get yourself out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's really just about like the reasons why you're doing it too. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you're trying to be a big successful creator, like comics maybe might not be for you. The odds are bad, and even the most successful guys aren't making much money on comics alone. So it, really, why I do it is just to get as many readers as possible, to get to hear people talk about my characters, and so that obviously that comes with success too, getting a lot of things, but that obviously means like I'm willing to give it away for free a lot of the times and stuff like that. So
see, I'm the moron who's doing it for a career, so I'm like,
well, yeah. But you're also you're not gonna get rich though.
Oh yeah. I mean, really, I'm hoping to at some point be able to support us on it, and it's getting better and better. Chris Mads here. What's going on?
As a comic book writer, the best way to make money is to break into TV writing and film writing.
Really, it is.
Like like Robert Kirkman and everything.
Chris, you haven't been on the show before, have you?
I don't know, but I know John. So.
Oh yeah.
So he He's probably heard us talk before. I mean, I've been on many shows with you.
Yes, we have. Yes, certainly we have. James Sims here. Good to see you, buddy. Good, cool. We're getting some good people. This is a perfect time for you then to introduce yourself. Why don't you tell us, Conner Bartel, a little bit about yourself, and then kind of go into the origins of you as a comic fan and then a comic creator.
Okay. My name is Conner Bartel. I am a comic book writer from Alaska. I first started reading comic books when, what my first comic book ever was a Predator trade paperback that my brother gave me when I was about like 4 years old or 5 years old, and
age appropriate indeed.
And so I always enjoyed any comic I could get my hands on. Back then, it was mostly just like the stuff I would find at grocery stores, like Archie and stuff like that, and obviously like everyone got like Calvin and Hobbes and everything. But I always really loved like the Marvel cartoons, and so my mom, and particularly Spider-Man, and my mom, she would get reprints of the original Amazing Spider-Man in the mail every month, and my mom lived in New York, and I'd visit her in the summers, and so all year she would save them for me. So every year when I show up in New York for a couple of years, I would have a stack of Spider-Man comics waiting for me, and those were the start of my collection, and I still have those. And so that's when I really started like collecting comics and getting into them. I really started getting into Walking Dead. So, like when I was like, I think like 2004 is when I started like is when I started reading that, which is like a year after it started. And I was really into that, following that monthly for like a long time. No, that's not true. I read the first one in 2004. But I started like following it monthly like much later after I caught up and like I started being allowed to be on the internet. And so I was collecting them digitally, and so I that's when I started like following a series and everything, and now I make black and white comics because of that.
Kira Burton comes in with the burn.
Yeah.
He's a younger dude, but he's definitely not that young.
I just had my 26th birthday a couple weeks ago.
Shit! Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Did I message you around your birthday? I never fucking know.
Yes, you did.
Oh, that was good of me.
Did.
I'm never sure. What's up, my sexy motherfucker? How you doing, Javi? Good to see you, man. We have holy shit, we have a good audience here. So many sweet baby. We have so many good people. That's fucking great. All right, cool. So, I mean, you went through that. So here's the funny thing. You and I are fairly similar, and I'm seeing this growing more and more where you start out with the Spider-Mans and all that kind of stuff, and yet I know I haven't made any superhero comics. Have you done any superhero comics?
No, I mean I wrote some superhero comics and I like had some pages made but I never like released or actually like finished the superhero comic. I feel like a lot of comic book writers start the same way when they're young and they have like this over ambitious superhero universe with like this ongoing series that's never going to get made. And I mean, I started that same way, but as far as like actually finishing a story and getting it and like working on producing it and like and getting it made and everything, like seriously, no, I never did a superhero comic. Yeah.
Thank you, homie. We appreciate you. Yeah. So it's funny because like, yeah, I never like I loved superhero comics, but there was no point where I thought I was going to make superhero comics. Like the closest to that is to any kind of superhero stuff is Welcome to the Void. And I had him listening to a song that says right away, I don't want to be a superhero. And like I actually, so I was like, yeah, no, I don't, that's not what that book's about. It's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had that interest because I'm like, other people are doing that really well. And that's great. It's not the story I want to tell, but also I think my issue is that I've found as I've grown up that superheroes aren't aging well for me.
Yeah,
like too
like
many
the
of them
new
have
stuff that's
been
coming
around way
out,
too
I like,
long, and yeah,
but the new stuff that's coming out, I like, but like even like the first Avengers doesn't really age that well, and that's not that old.
Yeah,
you know.
I love this.
But I
Yes,
feel like a lot of stuff Joss Whedon doesn't really age well.
right? No, it's true. He says, yes, true, real, deep, real stories. That is the meat and potatoes. Need more. Tell me a story that brings me into the world for an escape. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, like I like exactly what he said. I like to build worlds, and superheroes to me are mostly interesting when they're in like clones of our world. And
yeah,
I don't really like to put stories in clones of our world. Like I really like to have a blank canvas and build a world. Like I don't think Western is a genre. I think it's like a canvas to make other genres in,
which
and
which is funny because one of your first big stories is a Western.
well, yeah, that's why I used that as an example. You know what I mean? And that's why uh, I wanted to tell like a more like character for my next story. I wanted to tell a more character focused assassin story, and that just happens to take place in like a fictional Asian inspired landscape.
I I have to say I love that. So Swords and Sorrows was the first book that you and I worked on together, and I love that story for so many reasons. First off,
Yeah.
it's the fucking assassin. Yeah, go grab it. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
So first off, it's the I love assassins. So it's the assassin story that I always wanted to tell and just didn't get around to. There we go. There's the three books: Swords and Sorrows, Swords and Solace, and Swords and Silence. Right?
Yes, sir. Not in that order. Swords and Solace is last.
That's right.
All right.
She goes, I mean, assassins aren't not superheroes. I guess that's true, but
I mean, that assassin doesn't necessarily imply that they have powers, and that also implies that they're not really heroes. So I kind of disagree there.
Yeah, and your assassins definitely aren't heroes, and they definitely don't have powers.
My assassins are all like greedy people.
Yeah,
want money.
She just likes the killing. Yeah. So wait, Javi just said something fucked up, and I really like that. If I want to see a person, I am watching RedTube. But put a story to me, my opinion needs to be needs to immerse me into a feeling. That makes sense. Like get me pissed, get me sad. So you're saying if you want to see a person, just check out porn? Is that what's happening here?
I personally enjoy a good story in porn, sir.
Yeah, that's the best way to make me watch the whole thing. Actually.
Yeah. I'm gonna snack on some chips. I hope that's okay.
Oh, munch, homie. That's what this is all about. James says I feel attacked because all I make are superhero comics, and you know what,
that's
dude?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your thing. All I make are black and white comics, pretty much. There's nothing wrong with that.
You know what? I think so far, I think I'm I don't know. Maybe I'm some kind of stupid rebel where I don't want anyone to know what I do, so I keep jumping around and doing other shit. Like, oh, let's go black and white, super emotional. Oh, or no, let's go color, super emotional. Let's go black and white, supernatural comedy, and like just kind of. And then I went prose. Like, what the fuck?
I've been thinking about going prose lately.
It's okay. So straight up, just got back from Hill Country Comic Con. My last two Comic Cons, um, I was sent. So for my comps for Essence House, I was sent 20 books, and I I mean, I don't. I'm a comic creator, so selling novels was something I was a little worried about. I'm like, how are they going to look on the table? How are they going to work on the table? Yeah, Kira says, don't do it. Prose is hard. Yeah, girl.
I know, that's right. Well, yeah, like
So,
it is a different sell for sure. I
oh
bet.
yeah. So I'm at the, I get my comps. I got 20 books. So in my head, I'm like, man, I got to sell these kind of as fast as possible just to prove to myself that I can do them. But also just because, I mean, we're selling them 20 bucks a book, which I
Yeah,
felt was expensive, but actually supposedly that's like in the market. It's like a almost 300-page book.
yeah,
So I did it. I have 4 books left after 2
good.
shows.
I mean, and people aren't there to buy books, so that's impressive.
Yeah, so I felt pretty good. So it was nice to be able to come back to after the show and message Eric and go, "Hey, I only have 4 books. I got to buy another 20. Let's do this."
Yeah. Um, I've been kind of scared to go prose, but I've been reading this author called named Elmore Leonard.
Hmm.
He's pretty famous. He does the stories that the show Justified is based off of.
Oh, I didn't know
Uh,
that.
yeah, and so he writes in a very casual way where like the narrator also has his own dialect and bad grammar and skipping pronouns uh and shortening words and stuff like that. And it's a really great experience to read. It takes just a couple sentences to get used to, and it made me realize like you don't have to be, because I've been reading like classic fantasy novels
Mm,
and like things that are famous for being good.
yeah.
And so like and Elmore Leonard is famous for being good too, but like in a different way. But I just realized not everything has to be super flowery and super poetic,
Yeah.
and you can have like a really straightforward prose style that works for you.
Yeah.
And
And that's nice to be able to find that, figure that out, and make that happen. Chris Mad says, I like to make a superhero comic. I, I don't disagree. I think I'd like to do it too, but my problem is just what am I going to do? Like, I guess what it is that when you make something, even like fantasy, everything's kind of been done to death in its own way. So I'm a huge fantasy head, but when I look at fantasy, I go, what's my voice in a fantasy novel? How is that going to be unique or different or very much my own? And so I think it's the same thing with a superhero comic. What would my characters be? Would it be a team book? What would that world look like? And I just know that the concept is not there enough in my head. And I need it to not be like what I'm reading right now. Like something like The Boys is so fucking different, and it was someone else's take on superheroes. So for me, it'd be like I'd want to do not something like The Boys, but something in the idea of I want to do my own thing. What does that look like? And I don't know what that is.
yeah, the thing is that superheroes are also unfortunately the type of genre where people aren't too willing to venture into a comic book superhero that isn't from the big two. And yes, there's exceptions from that. It's hard to find an audience for that. And every time I'm writing a story, I have to think about what's the audience for this, because who am I writing this for, and what is my unique take on it? Like, what is about it that makes it unique? And it's hard to achieve that in superheroes. And even the boys in concept is something that a lot of people have attempted to do. The boys just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
and it's one of my favorite shows right now. And the boys just knocked it out of the park and really tackled it in a finely tuned and balanced way. And that's also, again, what I forgot who wrote the original comics, but even so, that's Eric Kripke who's working on the show. And
Well, why
those
don't we
are
look? Who wrote this? Oh, Garth Ennis is the
Garth
one who
Ennis.
wrote this book.
Yeah.
That's the one who wrote it.
Again, that's a great, you know what I mean? Like, he is one of the greats. And also Eric Kripke is one of the greats when it comes to television. So you put that together, and of course, but you have to find an entry point that's good for you. And
Well,
if
do you know
you
what
think
else?
superheroes are that, then you should go for it. It just has its own challenges, just like everything else.
Well, okay, so I don't know if you know this from Says It. Do you know what else Eric Kripke has done?
Supernatural.
Okay, and do you know what else? Because he created a very big superhero, and you might not know this. I'm excited.
Who?
He's the. Oh no, I'm wrong. No, I got it
Okay.
wrong. I almost said it, and I was gonna look like
You
a
almost blew
jackass, but
my
no, I'm wrong.
mind.
I know, right? No, he didn't. Yeah, okay. Sorry. So Javi says, but in all reality, there is a big step from graphic novels to a Stephen King story, though. Yeah, huge step. It, yeah.
In what context?
First off, in the way you lay it out. You know what I mean? Like, especially like in how you're telling the story, it's a very different way to tell it. And actually, there's a big, when you really get down to making comics and getting confident in making comics, there's actually a big weight that's off your shoulder. Because when you're writing a script, your actual audience, the people who are reading your script, is like 4 fucking people.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's so basically get your dialogue looking good, and they'll take care of the rest.
Yeah,
but in
if
prose,
you notice, I tried to ignore that mindset.
Yeah.
Because you're the editor of Swords and Sorrows, right? So if you notice, at first I wrote Swords and Sorrows like that. You know what I mean? Because I wrote that right after Grimwood, pretty much. Yep. Well, no, like right after the comic of Grimwood ended, not right after I wrote it. Because I actually do this crazy thing of writing the whole thing but first. But I didn't do that for Swords and Sorrows and that series. But
well, you didn't even know that you were going to do more than one issue of that one.
Yeah. But at first I started like the scripts, like a comic book script where like only a few people are going to read it and get my point across. But then I started to like with the second one, and then furthermore in the third one, I started to like try and input and practice my prose a little bit. And I maybe went a little bit too far. But again, only a few people are going to read that part at least.
Yeah. I don't think you went too far at all. I really liked it. I mean, hell, I got the idea of it, and I understood what you were going for. So, Brian Manel asked, are there anything that superhero stories tend to lack for you, both in interest and in storytelling?
Well, I think a lot of superhero stories nowadays tend to lack innovation. Or tend to lack unique quality. I find that Marvel and DC have been like stagnant for a while and stuff like that. But overall, like as a genre, that's not like much of a problem. It's just because it's been consistently being done for decades. But I guess a lot of times they lack like a real unique character, because so many different types of characters have already been done. I mean that's the good part of like the increased diversity in comics, is that we're getting like so much more unique voices.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so that's a good thing, but we still have a ways to go for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say for me, it's not necessarily that I feel like they're lacking anything. It's just, there's so fucking many superheroes and so many superhero stories being told that, and I fucking hate when someone's like, "Oh, you're into comics? What's your favorite superhero?" And I'm like, that comics is a medium that goes across so many fucking genres. So the fact that people are squaring into just that, it immediately makes me go,
Yeah.
no, well, that's not the story I want to tell then. I want to go off and I want to do something else. It's kind of that rebel without a clue sort of thing where I'm just like, if you're going to tell me to go this way, I'm going to go that way.
Well, and it's like, oh, you're in the novels. What's your favorite wizard? That's such a weird question. Also, like,
Yeah.
you're in the novels. What's your favorite character? That's also kind of a like weird question. How about ask me what my favorite series is? You know what I mean? It's the same thing for comics. What's your favorite series?
That's a tough one.
What's your favorite story? Oh yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, really, if you're out there and you're reading, it should be a tough question because there's so much good shit out there.
It depends who's asking, right?
Mm.
If someone who doesn't read comics and they want to know what my favorite series is because they want to get into comics, well, if they're really trying to get in the comics, then I hope they're okay with like a 200 issue series, because I would probably suggest The Walking Dead.
Yep.
Right? It's the action is super like grounded, so it's easy to follow. It's the perfect comic to learn how to read comics. It's super simple and laid out, and you're not going to ever get confused about issue 1 to issue, I think, like it's at like 170 something, maybe. I'm not sure. I forgot what it was.
I thought it got into the 180s. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the perfect one. If they're like an avid comic reader and they're just asking me, I'd probably go Why the Last Man.
Oh, such a good one.
That's my favorite story. You know what I mean? Like told in comics, I think.
How excited are you for the show?
I'm pretty excited. I haven't been following it that much. I looked up like who the actors look like and everything, and I think it's I haven't really been following it too much, just a little bit. There's not much to follow, if I'm not mistaken.
No, there's not. But I'll tell you this. I have a good buddy of mine who from Canada who is a stuntman, and I had him on the show probably in my first like 10 or so episodes. And
you got the inside scoop, Chucky?
He's a stunt coordinator on Why the Last Man. And so I told him, I said, I'm such a huge Y fan. What's up, man? And he said, I'm excited. I said, you're excited? He goes, yeah, I'm excited. He goes, dude, we're having a lot of fun. The stunts are great. Everything's looking really cool. He said, I think, he said, I haven't been able to check out the whole script or anything because he just gets like mostly those action pages and whatnot. But he said, I really love what's happening. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, if you can still enjoy it behind the scenes, then that's pretty great. No, you're good.
Oh, man. That's exciting. I love Why the Last Man. I think my internet password, don't tell anyone, is ampersand.
So if you're ever in fucking Anchorage, just kind of walk around, and if you keep typing in ampersand for the password, eventually you might get Wi-Fi.
If you're that dedicated, you can have it.
Yeah, right? You earned it. Go watch all the crazy weird porn and make me look weird. You won that round.
I've never read the 10th volume. I have them all right here.
You never read the ending?
No, I refuse to read the ending. I'm too sad. I read 9. I have the 10th one right there. I have the whole series lined up right there. I can show it to you if you want.
No, why would you lie about that? You just told us your fucking internet password, but you're gonna lie about that.
You don't know how crazy I am, man.
I know, right? This guy's all fucked up. So Brian says, I have a couple ideas that could be classified as a superhero story that I may try to tackle sometime down the road. Hope I can get to them someday after I take care of a few other stories. I find that a lot where people are like, I got some superheroes out there somewhere, but I think again, I think we're all waiting for that one spark, that one thing that makes us go, now I got to tell a superhero story, or now I know one that I want to tell, you know?
I do have one that I want to tell, but I'm just not sure if I should ever tell it. Like it's just like I'm not sure if like I could ever get an audience for it. I don't know. I'm not telling you my idea.
No, I know, right?
It's
Yeah.
mine.
I don't know where to go from there. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I hope you figure it out because I love what you do. But Javi, well, they started reaching towards backstories and made them full. My issue with most comic storylines has no filler, or they do not take it far enough. It's just, to me, in my opinion, the story of doing good / bad, kind of mostly cut and dry. Yeah, I mean, I think it's important, and I'm interested in your take on this too. I think any good story is like a roller coaster. Every once in a while, you got to kind of chill out and take a breath and have some more, say, like emotive pieces, or some some friendly, happy moments, so that the action and everything is more pronounced.
Yeah, and that you can take that to any level, right? You can take that roller coaster even to specific chapters or specific scenes, right? I think I've talked to you about this before, but Len Wein, he's a comic book creator, and he did this Spider-Man story where Mary Jane and Peter were at a football game, and they were walking through the stands while they were having like this kind of disagreement, argument back and forth. And like, every time like the tensions would rise and like Mary Jane would make a good point, like an obstacle would like kind of force them to go higher into the stands. And then like, Peter would, make a good point, and then an obstacle would make him go lower. And they were, like you said, a roller coaster going up and down in these stands.
Oh, that's neat.
And he's talking about like how, you like comic books are so visual, you have to use like visual storytelling, right? Even when it's just a conversation. Otherwise you get like what they call like floating heads,
Yep.
Or is that
the talking heads?
Talking heads, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
But
what up, Sean?
Oh, this guy.
James says, yeah, they just released a trailer last week. Yeah, they did. I watched it. It was good. I was excited. Why the Last Man?
Really? They released a trailer?
Yeah. Oh, it was good too.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Should we watch it live right here?
Right. I don't even know how the fuck. I would have to download it and shit. We could watch your reaction.
I'll wait till after. But man, I can just put that up on my TV right now. We can watch it together.
We can all we all watch his reaction. Oh shit. Brian says, I love Brian K. Vaughan. Read the first volume, but I have yet to read. Yeah, see, you got to read all of it. I loved all of it. I had a really good time. Javi now knows where he wants to go get his red tube. He's going to go to Alaska.
You can have it.
Right? Kira says, for me, too many superhero stories pull their punches. I want the fun. I want action, but make me cry and I will remember your book. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think emotion is such a huge part of telling a good story. I think it's what we all forget is so many people want to show cool shit, but at the end of the day, the one thing, that most of us tend to connect to is other people. So why are we not sharing, those people, their struggles, all that stuff matters.
Yeah, I mean, the human stories are just conveying a condensed, exciting form of the human experience. And the biggest part of the human experience is emotion, right? And so like if your story can't tap into any emotion, well, you need to reevaluate why you're even telling the story in the first place then.
I've read stories with virtually no setting, but there's really kind of no such thing as a story with no characters. You know?
Exactly. Anyone that tries to write a story and they don't know anything, at least they're gonna have, someone mocking what the human form or human experience is in some way.
Yeah. C-Sam comes in. Emotion and character chemistry is very important in stories. Absolutely. 100%. It's a huge part of what we do and of what we enjoy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a huge part of stories though that people tend to forget is agency. Not just in your characters, but in your scenes, in your chapters. You should always be accomplishing something, and you should always be wondering if you're trying to accomplish it at the right point in the story.
Yeah. And I mean, really, it's about motivation, agency, motivation. It's like, why am I telling this? What is it doing? And sometimes it's just like, well, we're telling this point because we need the story to breathe, and we want to make the characters a little more human and let them have their moments. Cool, that's important, but you need to know that why. You can't just slap it in there, or else an editor's gonna go, "This is useless. Get rid of it."
Yeah.
And they're unfeeling, heartless bastards. So don't give them any reason to cut your shit.
I know. I mean, I've definitely had to cut whole subplots out of, like, for instance, Grimwood. There was a whole there was a two characters. They were twins, and I realized like they only had one important scene, and their role in that scene didn't have to be accomplished by actual characters. So I just like had to cut all their scenes out, and it really trimmed the fat on the story and made it go at a brisk pace, and I probably saved a few $100,
Yeah.
in art.
Javi says, just like a comedian, the setup is really more important than the punchline. I mean, in a lot of ways, you're not wrong. If you fuck the punchline, at least you probably got some giggles along the way. But if you fuck the setup, your punchline's not going to get anything. It's not going to mean anything. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's kind of like saying in driving, pressing the gas is way more important than hitting the brakes. Why? I don't think there's any reason to say one's more important than the other. They're both vital. They're both vital things to driving, just like a setup and a punchline is a vital thing to a joke, and a setup and a delivery is just are both important, vital things of storytelling.
Huh. See, I would argue that one with you. I'm not saying that, like, I mean, obviously, I'm not sure what the right or wrong is. I guess the reason why I would argue that with you is, like, as I love comedy, and so for me, the setup, moving everything forward and getting you to that end point, it I would almost say it's more important than Travis says, wait, they have cars in Alaska.
Yeah, the same cars everyone has, little skis on the front instead of wheels.
Right, pulled by huskies.
Yeah, don't you have those?
Yeah. I feel like the setup is almost more important than the punchline. Obviously, you need to nail that punchline. That's important, and I won't argue that. But I would say the setup's almost more important because you can't nail the punchline without the setup, but you can still have an enjoyable story without a good punchline. You know what I mean? If you fail that punchline, you still had a good story. The punchline would have made it great. And I think that's the difference. in my mind.
You ever heard of Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I really wish they would have nailed that punchline.
Have you ever heard of the idea that the ending has retroactively ruined the entire show and made it not worth it to watch?
It has. That's true.
Have you ever played
that's
the game?
knowing that it sucks.
Have you ever, but like what I'm saying is like it does ruin the entire thing. Like I went before that last season came out. I had rewatched the show many times.
Yeah.
And now I can honestly say I'll never rewatch it because I know it doesn't lead anywhere. And so, have you ever played the game Firewatch?
No.
I went from having an amazing time and like I'm gonna recommend this game to everyone. It's a walking simulator that tells a really, really engrossing story until you get to the end and you just realize it was not worth it. And it made the whole game not worth it.
Yeah.
And those are to me you have to have some form of decent ending. Have you ever heard of like in a different vein, you ever heard of the Kingkiller Chronicles?
No.
It's one of the like biggest contemporary fantasy novel series. It's written by Patrick Rothfuss, and we've been waiting very long for the third and final book, and it's not. And at this point, we realize it's probably not going to come. And it is the first two books are some of the best stories I've ever read in my life. But it's like, it's all about that ending and not getting that ending and solving all those mysteries. I'm not sure if it's worth it. And
do you think he's?
Oh, go ahead.
Do you think he's worried he's going to Game of Thrones it?
Yeah. So what I think assuming he's honest, which I do think he's honest. He said that he had written all three books beforehand, and then before publishing them, had to heavily rewrite the first book and had to even more heavily rewrite the second book. So what I think happened is now that those changes have been compounded into the third book, he pretty much had to write a completely new book that somehow has to live up to this astronomical standards that he himself has made because his book was astronomically amazing. And so I think now he's doing charity, which I don't want to discount his wonderful philanthropy, but I think charity is the perfect excuse to push off your homework.
Yeah, right.
And it's pretty much like exclusively what he does now, almost. And
maybe he's doing the charity as an apology. Like, I'm so sorry, I fucking blue balled you guys, so I'm gonna give money to these people.
He's known for getting like really upset when people bring up the third book. But I guess in recent months he's been more open about it. But then his editor recently came out and said he's never seen a word of book 3, and so we're like, ooh.
Oh, that's something you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
What else do we have here? If you can't get someone, you can't engage. Yeah, exactly. You got to pull people in. Trying to look. Oh, well, actually, Brian Manell had a really nice thing. He said, "My favorite fight scene in Civil War wasn't the giant battle of superheroes, but the one-on-one fight between Iron Man and Captain America. That was a personal fight fueled by ideology that clashes against their mutual friendship. For more interesting to me." Yeah, I totally agree. That's much more interesting.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, like I'm a big Captain America fan, right? And I don't know if you see in the background, that's Captain America and Winter Soldier from a local artist. Nice. Sorry, it's weird to. How do I do this? There you go. but I'm also a very big Spider-Man fan. I'm an even bigger Spider-Man fan. I'm not going to take you around my house to see all the Spider-Man art. But my favorite new superhero in Civil War wasn't Spider-Man. It was Black Panther. Even though I'm like the biggest Spider-Man fan, I enjoyed Black Panther even more in that because it was so much more personal and engaging. And it was an amazing entry to the character. And also, they introduced the character in a way that's not the T'Challa we know. We know T'Challa to be like a peaceful, thoughtful man that isn't full of revenge. And they showed us this version of the character and we were okay with that being not comic accurate because we sympathized with his motivations.
Yeah.
And eventually, his character arc was to become the character that we know and love.
Yeah.
But he was a very thought-provoking character, and he was very emotion-driven and had very relatable motives, and that's why he was honestly my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah. See, James'
also, action was badass.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely. James says just start at the end like Pulp Fiction. Yeah, right? True enough. And that's something like for me, I mean, I know that I said you don't have to nail the punchline, but I am, and as someone who's worked with me before, I am anal about the endings. Like, I do kind of get on it because, if you've worked that hard to make such a beautiful setup, you don't want to fuck it on the ending. So, of course, if I can help in any way there, and I like to think that after having kind of worked on the things that I've worked on, I can kind of look and go, I have a pretty good idea how to end things, and I think it is important to nail it. I won't take it away from that. Kira says, in argument, I am trying to say Stephen King is terrible at writing endings, but still good at books. I hadn't thought of that.
That's a totally fair point.
Yeah.
I totally get where she's coming from. Stephen King has a tendency to go off the rails, and a little bit, and I totally get near the end. I totally get what she's saying, but his stories are still worth it in the end.
So who do you think?
I think he still does a good job of tying. Like, he's a master at character. He still does a good job of tying up the character. The plot goes off the rails, but the characters always come back. I feel like that's the key element that makes his stories, his endings, not absolutely terrible.
Yeah, and his stories definitely suck you in. They're really interesting concepts, and they really pull you in. So that's huge.
Yeah, he has his own unique brand of world building.
Sorry, I'm trying to look through some of the shit, and then suddenly Andrew Frey goes, anyone else here simply because you can't stop simping for Chuck? Maybe we should start a club. If you get jackets, let me know. I'll get a jacket too. I'm interested. Travis said I would agree with that statement, I guess, about Black Panther, but sadly the big battle had Superman or had Spider-Man. I loved Spider-Man. I thought he was fun.
I thought Spider-Man was still great in that, but even though I'm such a Spider-Man fanboy, I loved Black Panther so much. That airport battle was insane.
It was dope. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I love that fight. It was fun. Yeah, man. Yep. I actually still even Endgame. I'll go back and watch that whole end fight over and over. There's just so many amazing fucking moments. And you know what? I'm not even interested in the end snap or anything like that. I want to see the moment when everyone starts pouring out, and my
only complaint about that final scene is Captain America whispers "Assemble." I wish he just belted it out. I wish he yelled it, he screamed it, but he was just like, "Avengers, assemble."
I was a little turned on, so I didn't even notice it. I was just like, oh, thanks.
Oh, I was
Rip
at full
Evans.
mass, baby. But no, it was an amazing scene. Yeah, it was awesome. Watching Captain America get that nasty ass cut and then like cinch it shut with his shield. Ugh, that was gross. I loved it.
Right? Andrew Frey needs to know what's in the bowl, man. What's in the fucking bowl? Oh, spicy sweet chili. Ooh, nice.
My favorite flavor.
Go have fun, hon. You can always check out the rest later. We appreciate you coming out.
D&D is way better than us. Go do that.
Right. You didn't have to tell her the truth so quick, but you were not wrong.
I just started playing D&D. I'm about like I don't know, like 8 sessions in, like 6,
okay, 7, yeah.
8.
That's fun.
I had a lot of fun. I have a great DM.
What else do we got going on? Brian said, I don't remember minding the ending to The Talisman, but he also co-wrote that with Peter Straub. Haha. I like the very first books of the Dark Tower. I couldn't finish the fucking... And it was small. The first Dark Tower book was so small, but I was like, what's the fucking point? I had no interest in it. And I tried to read that first book over and over, and I just couldn't do it.
It's not for you. It's not for you, man.
No, I know. I tried. I really did.
I think I only read the first book and because like
yeah, see, we were all kind of yes, he whispered, but still, yeah.
Yeah. The whisper is what made my nipples harder.
See, everyone's crashing. All right, Javi, you get some rest. You can always watch the rest later. We're gonna keep chatting for a little while longer at least. So good night, man. Good night, everybody who is leaving.
Good night.
What's this? Don Coscarelli, writer for the film Phantasm 1979, had to take a vacation and rent a cabin in the woods to write the film ending, which was worth it. Wendy and I have actually been talking about this. We want to get a bunch of us to rent a campground and go and have like a writer's retreat or a comic creators retreat. And just a bunch of us together going out into the woods, having a good old time, and just fucking, having an afternoon where you sit down and you just go, okay, I'm currently at this part, and it's just fucking driving me mental, and you can have that sort of a round table therapy sort of shit.
Everyone writes for 4 hours and then parties at the end every day.
Yeah. And I'm totally down for that.
I would love that. I just need to get my passport for Canada.
Right? I'm not in Canada.
What?
I'm not in Canada. I'm in Texas. I'm Canadian, but I live in Texas.
I thought you were in Canada.
No.
I feel like an asshole.
Yeah, no, I haven't lived in Canada since 2012.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, I knew you were Canadian.
Yes, that's what did it. Bruno, this is my dude, Conner. He is a writer. He's also a publisher. He's also a letterer.
I do
Josh
art too, but not for comics.
You do what? Oh yeah, dude, I like your art.
Thank you.
I think some of that could end up as pieces in the trade for Swords and Silence. For Swords.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't want to confuse people even further about it. I was like, I do art, but not for my own comics.
Well, I mean, you got to do something for yourself too, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about doing an art book.
There we go. My French-Canadian brother. He shows up. We said Canada way too many fucking times. You're right, buddy. We apologize. Good to see you, my poutine brother. Today, I saw the most Canadian thing I've ever fucking seen. Chris Mad sent this to me. It was a dude eating poutine out of the Stanley Cup. That was fucking great. Yeah, that's Canadian right there.
I love poutine.
Oh, yeah, right?
Hello. What up, Sierra Nova? Go check out Sierra Nova Comics on YouTube.
Yeah, good dudes. Right? See? Dude, yeah, that's huge. Shit. Okay, guys, if you guys have any questions for us, we're just blathering and having a good time right now. But if you guys do actually have any questions or any topics you want us to talk about,
Did you guys watch
let us
What If?
know.
Did you watch What If?
I did not.
Ooh,
But
I like
okay,
it.
I want to. I did see someone though go, why didn't we get this movie instead of or why didn't we get this TV show instead of Falcon and Captain America, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier? And I'm like, because
I
this
like
is just like
Falcon
a
and
what
Winter
if.
Soldier.
I did too. I thought that was ridiculous.
I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier is exactly what we need right now.
Yeah.
And I think Anthony Mackie is an absolute fucking stud of a person. So I think he's gonna do right by the character and not like I feel like Marvel has private investigators that make sure their actors aren't into sketchy shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's not many Marvel actors. I can't name any Marvel actors that have gotten outed for any like sketchy shit lately, and they're always do.
The only one I can think of, not an actor, is Joss Whedon, but they'd already dropped him and he'd gone over to DC, which makes you kind of wonder, like, DC, maybe you should have listened.
Well, I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is awesome. I think the ending was a little rushed, and everyone should check out the YouTube channel Nando V Movies. And what it is he just talks about things he would change in stories, and he brings up how like we know that Falcon and the Winter Soldier was rewritten because of the pandemic. And based on what we've seen and heard in the show, he pretty much deduces what that cut subplot was, and it solves like all the problems that the show has, knowing what that is. And so like it makes sense. The show definitely changed some things, but I think it was an absolute. The action was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think the character changes were earned. I think the acting was on point. I think the plot was a little sloppy sometimes, but their overall dialogue was really well.
Yeah,
really well written. And I think you could definitely tell some things were rushed.
I was a little disappointed with Sharon Carter because I've always seen her as more of a good guy. So seeing her take more of a bad turn was a little disappointing to me. I get why, and didn't see it coming and all that kind of stuff. That's great. Just for me, it's a little disappointing.
I think as far as like the comics go, if you're a fan of that character, I totally get it. She was a pretty major character. I think as someone that didn't really read any of her comics, I was really happy to see her back, and I was happy to see her back in a capacity that means she's going to come back even more in the future.
Yeah,
because it's like what the fuck were they doing with her anyway?
Yeah, they'd kind of left her in limbo and not really touched her, so that was a really good way to bring her back. Oh, we do have a question. Connor, best writing advice for someone working on a book while working on it and then getting published?
I think the best writing advice I could give you is to plot it out in an outline first and make sure that you know exactly where it's going. It could just be a brick wall of text, where you're saying, here's a sentence, this happens next, then this happens, then this happens. Doesn't have to be pretty because it's only for you. But what this does is it makes it so every time you're writing a scene, you always know what you're writing for. You always know what you're trying to accomplish in that scene because you already know all the details your story needs. Then that keeps you from overwriting. It keeps your story lean. and it even gives you a little bit of chance to add some fat around it if you want to. Just a little bit of fat, a little bit of love, not too much. And it just keeps your story brisk, clean, and full of agency. Agency. That's where it's at, baby.
Well, speaking of fat, Apitz bin Senin came in. I hope I said that wrong, wrong. I hope I said that right, by the way. But he said, "Hi, Chuck and Connor. Can I have a request for you guys? Can you show the full design T-shirt you wear now with full screen?" So we'll do. You're gonna show off your shirt. We'll show you first.
Oh, sure. I feel like a lot of people have this shirt.
Boom.
It's just a classic Captain America shirt. We'll go sideways here for you. That doesn't happen. There you go. Classic Captain America shirt. Little
Nice.
bit of Spider-Man tattoo there for you.
Right. And then I guess I'll do mine too. Here we go.
We're both wearing Marvel shirts.
We are both wearing Marvel shirts. So
Frickin'
there I go.
nerd.
Yeah. This is one of my con shirts actually. So
I wore this to the cons too. That's fun. You there, Chuck? Oh, did Chuck disappear? Yeah, I wish
I knocked me out. For some reason I knocked me out.
I was like, oh no, am I gonna have to handle the show?
That would have been great. And we actually lost a couple of viewers when I left. I'm sorry, guys. That's fucking funny.
They're like, screw this guy.
Right? Yeah, so I have these, kind of the Marvel shirts. I have this and a Deadpool shirt, and then I have two shirts that are there purely so that I can sell Belial. Just so that as soon as you see them, you know my sense of humor, you know what's up. I have one shirt that I bought from Kyron Silva that says, please buy my comics because no one subscribes to my OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And so I bought that shirt, and that's one of my con shirts. I wore that at Comic Palooza. And then the other one I wear is a shirt with Link from Belial on the front. And he says, my other ride is your mom.
Yeah, I think I've seen a picture of that shirt.
Yeah. So those are my two favorite con shirts, and I feel like right away, if you see that, you get my sense of humor. That should stop you and bring you to the table.
I want to get a shirt that says "I'm just the writer" because I'm tired of explaining to people that I'm just the writer.
Fucking who has that? Bob. What the hell's his name? Bob
Sally.
Bob Sally has that shirt.
Okay. I was like, that's a comic guy. That's
right.
Bob.
That's the only Bob I can think of. What are some things that attract you the most to new comic book creators and attract you to their stories?
Well, if I'm just scrolling Kickstarter, looking for a comic that I want to see, right? I usually like interesting takes on genres. Yeah. Something that immediately takes me. Obviously, being the writer, that story is super important, so I have to do like a lot of investigation if it's something I really want. But artwork plays a huge role. There's my dog Luna; she's a beauty.
Hey, girl.
But art does play a huge role. Yeah. If I but I also want to see the interesting takes on genres, and the art has to portray that.
Yeah. Andrew, I'll pose for the picture. You want to make it happen? I'm fucking down for it anytime, man. I'll buy one too, so I can judge you twice. Chris Matt only owns one comic shirt. You got to change that, man. You got to change.
I only own one T-shirt.
You know what's funny? I walk by like a lot of these indie people, and they have their own shirts. They're wearing their own shirts, and I feel like that's a misstep. And the reason I say that is when you're behind a booth, you've got your fucking banners behind you, you've got your books in front of you, you've got everything. If they're not attracted by that and they notice your shirt, you fucked up on everything else.
Yeah.
So your shirt is a way to attract them in a different way.
Your personality. Oh, I love Captain America. Oh, I love the Avengers.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, me too. I have a book just like that, blah, blah, blah. Or, oh, if you like that kind of story, I've got this. It's another hook that you can use.
What's your opinion on? I've always heard that like you shouldn't dress up as a creator at a comic convention.
Dress up what? Like
you shouldn't cosplay.
I don't know, but so the heirs of Isildur, the In Symmetry team, they're steampunk people, and they dress up, and it works very well for them.
Oh yeah.
I think it can be polarizing, but I think also what it does is it helps you find your base. You know what I mean? Like if you're not, that's just my thought. If you're not all fucking dressed up, then you could try to sell to anyone. But if you are dressed up, you know exactly who you're pulling in, and they know usually that they're for you.
Well, I'm not even talking about from a marketing standpoint. I'm talking like, your favorite video game character. You're dressed up as your favorite video game character, and you're selling your own comics.
I've never really seen that. Yeah, I wouldn't know it. I don't know how I feel about that.
Allergy season.
Well, bless you. Oh, William Pace is really excited to see you. Conner! What's up, Will? Good to see you, buddy.
William, your comic is on the way almost.
All right.
We're just wrapping up stuff with distribution, baby.
Okay.
I just paid them.
So we're printing right now?
Yeah, we're printing and distributing right now. I just paid them for the entire thing.
Yeah, see? Andrew Frey got it. Oh, I'm so glad that you're another metalhead. Never be the dude who wears the shirt for the band you are going to see. Don't be that dude. Yes, 1,000% that. If you're going to a Slipknot show, don't wear a Slipknot shirt. Wear something else so they know that you've got a deeper pedigree.
I appreciate the advice. I didn't know that.
Yes, that's at a rock show. If you wear the band's shirt that you're going to see, you look like a bit of a tool. You're actually supposed to. Yeah, it's so funny, but that is a real thing.
Damn humans and their social etiquette.
I know, right? It's a real thing. He's not even wrong. That's the best part. When you pee, they see the shirt. I'm not even sure what you're talking about there, but I love it. Oh, what? Do you mean like with me judging? Because that would be hilarious. If I'm on the front judging while somebody takes a piss, that would be pretty hilarious. Never underestimate the power of urinal marketing. Oh, I see. Oh, so he's saying if you wear your shirt for your brand when you're away from your table, yes, certainly when you're away from your table, if you're taking a piss or whatever, and I have a Bonfire Press or a Welcome to the Void or Belial or something shirt, yes, that will help me away from the booth. I guess in my head, I'm at my booth way more often than I'm away from it, so I'd rather focus on that, but you're not wrong. Maybe I should just have like a pullover. If I'm leaving the booth, I'll throw the pullover and Belial. Yeah,
I really do like your. Oh yeah, when you're always branding, baby.
Yeah. What were you saying?
I do like my other ride is your mom shirt. You know that, and so like I feel like that's particularly funny. And like maybe if you're selling that shirt, like it'd be cool to wear it.
I need more people to say that they want it, and then I'll do that. But yeah. Look, Chris Matt only owns one band T-shirt. Holy shit, dude! You need more of those too. I don't have a lot of band shirts anymore, but I need more.
Either, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few.
Yeah, see, we got a bunch of band shirts are my thing, but I do have one video game shirt combining Portal and BioShock 3. Yeah, that's actually pretty sweet. I have a shirt that says Tool, not the band. I'm just a tool. Fair. Yeah, that's fair, dude. Andrew Frey wants a Belial parka. He's got Iron Maiden. Yeah, dude, that's a great one. Oh no, Steph Wilson's here. Now it's all gonna be tits and sarcasm. Great. Well, just so everyone who has shown up, this is my dude, Conner Bartel. He is a writer, publisher, and we're just having a good old time fucking around. If you have any actual questions or stuff you want to talk about, by all means, but we are enjoying fucking around, so it's all good.
Oh yeah.
Have you been able to read a lot of indies lately?
No, let's see. Honestly, I haven't been reading indies. I finished up. I took a long break from Walking Dead and just recently read the ending, which is amazing. That was another one I've been holding off reading the ending on, so maybe I should go back to Why the Last Man. But I was also reading some of the Witcher tie-in comics. I was reading the Witcher novels for a while, and I gotta say, man, like the two short story collections are amazing, but the saga is just so long-winded. Like
really?
the whole thing can be told in like 2 books.
Yeah.
Like but
I do love those games, though.
Me too.
Bless you.
Woo!
Oh,
sorry, I'm allergic to her love.
Andrew Frey just imploded. Oh my gosh, what's the puppy's name? Is the puppy a good doggo? Does Conner have bacon for the puppers?
She has eaten all the bacon. This is Luna. She is a beautiful, beautiful soul. And her tail is wagging like crazy right now. You just can't see it.
Steph says, read Belial. It's a good cure for insomnia. You know, I tried to read that book, but I ended up getting this this Hooters cover, and the cover was so dumb, I just couldn't get into the book. He's one of the cover artists, so if he wants to be a dick.
Yeah, I figured. I just got Belial in the mail.
Oh, Belial too. Oh yeah, I'm interested to hear what you think.
Yes, I still have to read it. I should. I wish I did read it so that I could have. I thought I had a week.
Oh yeah, that's right. See, then you could have come on the show and called me out for my shit and just been like, "What the fuck was this extra crap?" No, I
always thought about that. The people that like review indie comics and then also write indie comics. Like I always thought, like, man, you probably hurt some feelings and then have them come after you for your stuff, and then your feelings get hurt.
Oh my god!
Not everyone has a Luna to make their feelings better.
Jeez. Okay, Andrew. Now I wish I could show my dog off. Andrew said, "Chuck, if it's cool, please forward me Conner's shipping info so I can send Luna swag."
Okay. Mwah.
I think we might be able to make that happen. So now I'm gonna tell my sad story. I have a dog, and he has seizures, and so I was in the middle of working, and all of a sudden I heard some like massive banging around in the bathroom, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I guess he hopped into the bathtub in order to have a seizure, so that he wouldn't be bumping into a bunch of other stuff. Like he's basically become good at having seizures.
What a poor soul.
Yeah. So he's actually, we have a fence for him. We pull up this fence in the kitchen and put him in there so that he can't hit any other stuff, and it's all kind of soft and whatnot. So he's in the fence. Actually, I think he's probably pretty much out of it, but they can be kind of long. So yeah. Yeah, his name's Finn. Thank you, man. I'll send you some addresses. You're a sweetheart. Andrew Frey, guys. Fucking awesome. Check out Crypto Comics.
Thank you, Andrew Frey. Say thank you, Luna.
She's gross. Mike Jimmy is in the house. Good morning, dude. Good to see you. Steph says, "Don't worry, Connor. The writing is weak." Well, at least send him in like that, and that way, he won't be expecting too much.
I already read issue 1. Oh, Luna's going crazy.
Because she can hear us talking about her. Hey, Luna. Hey, girl. What's going on? Come here.
Look over there. Look over there. What's that? What's that?
I know. I missed my dog. Oh,
sorry, I couldn't read that. It was on me.
Oh, he said sad dog stories. Read the room, Chuck. No, you're dead on. I just had to talk about it anyways. Andrew Frey said, "Don't need to plug, but thank you." No, of course I'm good. I want to plug everybody. And honestly, if you guys have any Kickstarters or anything happening, I do have one that. Do you mind if I talk about one real quick?
Go for it.
Okay, this one's important to me. I am a part of it, but my part in it is not what's important. It's called the Collective. If you go on Kickstarter now and check out the Collective, they have it's an anthology, and it's got stories from Jonathan Hedrick, from Travis Gibb, from David Galliano, whom I love his piece, and I got to work on part of that. But it also has the first ever story by my own Wendy Gale. It's a 4-page story from her fantasy book that's coming out, and it's in there. And so if you kind of want a feel of that character in that, you can pick that up now, and you can get the story for that. So if you check that one out. Kevin Gillette's here. It's 2 of my favorite creators. What's up, buddy? Plug everyone. I'm not getting the soap. Good call. What are you gonna plug them with? Actually, no, I'm not even asking. Oh shit, Jeff Wilson. Any funerals to talk about? I could, but I won't. See, Wendy Gale is friggin' awesome. That's why I'd love for you guys to check it out. Mike's got a sign-up list going for a new series on IGG if people like K-drama. What is K-drama? Is that like Korean drama?
Korean drama, maybe?
That's what I think too. Like K-pop. That's how I got there. So why don't you tell us real quick, as we are starting to wind this down a little bit, why don't you tell us a little bit about your books? Yeah, it's Korean dramas. Thank you very much. Tell us a little bit about your 2 main series, and then where people can track your stuff down online.
Well, you can get my stuff on Amazon. You get the digital. Physical copies are kind of harder to track down unless you're a Kickstarter follower. But digital copies you can get on Amazon or Comixology. I have a supernatural Western series called Grimwood Crossing, which is about monster hunters in the Wild West. That's a 6-issue series, and there's also like a one-shot at the end there. And that's really fun. A really fun series, lighthearted, a lot of monsters, a lot of gunfights. We play around with some Western tropes, and that's a lot of fun.
I like to tell people that one is the Wild West Witcher. It's the Triple W.
Oh yeah, I was inspired by The Witcher a lot for that one. But something I really like, and it kind of seeps into like almost everything I write, is master and apprentice relationships. And so that's really at the heart of that story. It's about a sheriff who keeps law and order in the town, but also handles all like the supernatural problems in the town too. And it's a big town, and he has a young deputy who's kind of like his apprentice who has to learn how to handle all these monsters, and so it's a real fun ride.
You know what? I didn't fucking think about that. That's the big tie between your 2 main series, is that the master apprentice rule is so big. That's fucking funny. Huh.
Yeah, I really like that. I get that from like fantasies. Almost everything I write, like, you can kind of tell is inspired by like fantasy.
Like fantasy every King Arthur has his Merlin sort of deal.
Yeah, or like I really like. Have you ever read the Night Angel trilogy?
No.
Oh man, that's another really good one.
Yeah.
Uh, I just really like like angry, grizzled, old master. Not necessarily old, but sometimes old master, like teaching this youngin, the way. I just like that. I like that type of relationships. Sometimes I
Yeah.
like it when it's a loving relationship. Sometimes I like it when it's a hating relationship.
Right. Kevin
That's the
Gillette
difference.
says, shameless plug for Inked, an ad firm built by creators for creators. Inked.marketing. Yeah, man, we've both worked with them. Check them out. Great people.
Yeah, for sure.
Valerie
Most
Pierce is in the
affordable,
house.
most affordable crowdfunding
Yeah.
marketing company out there. That's for sure. It's pretty much the only good option for people at our level.
Yeah.
Like a lot of other companies will tell you, like, oh, we need to like ensure that your campaign makes at least like $20,000, like before like we work with you or something like that. This is like pretty much the only reliable company to work with at this level that we're at.
They
This
are
like
really
sub
great.
this sub $10,000 level. You know, it's perfect for people like us.
Steph says Chuck could be an apprentice to a real editor. It's funny. He loves to pretend like he can hurt my feelings. Only people I care about can do that.
Oh
um,
shoot.
I'm fucking. I love Steph. Steph loves me. We just love to burn each other. Um, it's funny because just today I actually booked my mentor on the show, and he's going to be on the show. Steve Cole. He'll be on the show October 5th. So yeah,
Oh,
man,
cool. What a
I do have a
topical
mentor.
joke.
I know, right? He had no idea. Yeah, Steph didn't even know he was telling a joke. Yeah, dude, we love what you do, man. Absolutely. Yeah, see, you're good too, homie. Um, but yeah, just trying to think. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we end up heading out, or is there
I'll
anything
talk
anyone else
about
wants to talk about?
anything all day, baby.
I
I'll
know,
talk about
right?
anything. We can talk more about what Marvel shows. What's a show right now that you want to recommend to everyone that you feel like no one in the audience has watched?
That no one in the audience has watched. I'm like a basic bitch, so I end up watching the stuff that everybody's watched.
I know, but there has me too. But I do have one show that I feel is so criminally underrated that it almost didn't get a season 3, and HBO swooped in and saved it. So
What's that?
it's called Warrior.
Okay.
Everyone needs to go on HBO Max right now and watch the show Warrior. So essentially, Bruce Lee, a long time ago, wrote a treatment for this show and tried to bring it to Universal, and they're like, oh, and this is like in the 70s, and they're like, oh, America doesn't want an Asian-led television series. It just wouldn't work. So they pushed him away, and they stole his idea and casted a white man as a monk and as an Asian monk, David Carradine, and that show is Kung Fu, and it was like a weird bastardization. It might be a good show. I haven't really seen it, but it's like a weird bastardization of like Bruce Lee's original concept, and which is pretty much like a martial arts master in the Wild West. And so that concept has now been brought to life in the way Bruce Lee intended by his daughter 50 years later.
Oh wow.
And it's called Warrior, and it has 2 seasons, and a 3rd season is coming sometime next year, maybe 2022. But it's an amazing show, and I suggest everyone watch it. It has amazing action, and it has an amazing cast and crew of Asian creatives, so it's great.
Okay, well, first off, Steph Wilson says, I swear by the Bachelorette. Like, that's bullshit. because it depends on the season. There's some really bad bachelorettes out there, so it just depends on the girl. And even the cavalcade of gentlemen, quote unquote. I've never watched an episode. Fuck you. Okay, so I have a show. I feel like it's definitely one that a lot of people watch, but I feel like no one's talking about it.
Okay.
Valerie says, Chuck Pino, I got to pop out, but I'll catch up tomorrow. Yes, thank you just for showing up, hon. We appreciate it. But yeah, we would love to have you back. I felt like not enough people were talking about Sweet Tooth. I felt like that fell under the radar. And I
feel like right when it came out, I heard people talking a lot about it for like a day.
Yep.
And then now I haven't heard shit from it. Is it good?
I fucking adored it. It was, in my mind, it was an all ages post-apocalyptic story. I feel like they were able to actually, like, imagine, I don't know,
Isn't that Adventure Time?
Yeah, but it's a little more.
I'm just playing.
No, you're not wrong though. It's like between Adventure Time and Fallout. Like it's right in this weird spot in the middle of that. Yeah. It's really cool, man. I love the mystery behind it. I love where everything is going. I feel like they have a plan. Yeah, man. It has a lot of heart. It's really beautiful in its own way. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I actually, you know what? I'm probably going to go in for a second.
Story, or?
No, that was I believe that was Jeff Lemire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't Jeff Lemire has a comic? What was it? Gideon Falls? Is that Jeff Lemire?
I don't know.
Or am I saying that right?
I don't know him well enough.
Like an idiot.
No.
But okay, Sweet Tooth. I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah. I swear by it. Sammy Bobby B-Boy says Banshee is very good TV series. I don't know that one.
I think Sam is saying that because Banshee is the showrunner for Warriors, also the showrunner for Banshee, Jonathan Trope.
Oh, okay.
And both of them are fantastic for the same reasons. Banshee's also an amazing show. And it also has an amazing premise. Get this. I'm excited to tell you about this. So a man with no name gets released from prison, and he has no name because when he was arrested, he was caught red-handed, but he didn't release his name or anything to save his accomplice from getting arrested. So he was in prison for like 12 years, and they never got his name out of him. And he gets released from prison though, and he goes to a small town and gets and pretty much enters like an almost empty bar with pretty much just the bartender there. And no one knows his name, and no one has ever seen his face before. And in comes the brand new sheriff, just arrived in town. No one's ever seen his face in town, and no one's ever heard his voice in town. So they're both sitting in the bar, and then some dudes come in and cause a ruckus, and the sheriff dies. And our main character steals the identity of the sheriff and becomes an ex-con, like small town sheriff, dispensing his own brand of tough justice. It's almost like if the Punisher was a small town sheriff.
That's fucking funny.
And it stars Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander from The Boys.
Wow.
But what's great is that like this character doesn't know none of the characters really know martial arts, but the fighting is so amazing still.
Yeah.
It's some of the best non-martial arts action I've seen. Like just like an amazing kinetic brawls that are just like great freaking show. If it had one main problem, I'd say the main character is such a stud that there is not a single female character in that show that he didn't sleep with.
Wow. Okay.
It's kind of a problem. It's like at one point, a woman, this badass woman comes into the show, sleeps with him real quick, and then has her own important story arc. But the fact that they slept together had nothing to do with anything. I don't think it's ever mentioned or brought up again. I'm not even sure if these characters really talked to each other again.
It's probably in his contract.
It's like she had an initiation. Yeah, she had like an initiation into the show. She had to sleep with the main character. It's actually a weird problem, but besides that, it's an absolutely amazing show. And Jonathan Trope is the showrunner for both Banshee and Warrior. I don't know if that's why Sam brought it up, but either way, Banshee's.
I mean, it's a good show apparently too. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna get to some of your other shows, but I would love to throw this question out to you guys again as we start to quiet it down a little bit. Your all-time favorite TV fight scene? I think I know mine.
There's obvious one. There's the obvious one, which is like the hallway fight scene from
That's
Daredevil.
My scene. That's my scene, man.
Like,
That's
come
a fucking
on. Like,
crazy scene.
Can you really top that one? Can you really top it?
Okay, there's one other that I would say it tops it artistically, at least. So it's the Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles. Did you watch that?
Not like completely. I think I watched like the first episode.
Fucking loved that thing. Anyways, the end of the first season, this Terminator is going up against. He's in this motel. It's like a horseshoe shaped motel, all that has a pool in the center. And he's in one of the rooms, and the cops basically come out there, and they're like, "Hey, get out. You're under arrest." Blah blah blah. He's done all this terrible shit. He comes out, and then they're like, "If you make a move, we're gonna shoot you." Blah blah blah. Get down, and he starts to move forward. The camera suddenly disappears, and the scene shunts to you're watching from the bottom of the pool. So you're at the very bottom of the pool, looking up. Everything that you hear is muffled. You hear yelling, and then you hear gunshots. You hear a bunch of gunshots. And then all of a sudden, one body hits the fucking pool and slowly starts to come down. And then another, and another, and another, and another. And it's a fucking pile until eventually you can't see anything because the camera is covered by a body. And then you go up there, and it's just the Terminator and one other guy who's kind of like our main sort of character who's hiding away. And I was just like, dude, that is the most inexpensive way to fucking show carnage, and yet it's absolutely beautiful. Like, as a storyteller, I saw that scene and I was like, that is such a cheap scene to film, and yet you what you did is amazing and beautiful. We've never seen that before. And it was fucking, from my mind, I was like, that's ridiculous. So that's one of my favorite fight scenes without a fight.
Well, that kind of reminds me of another one of my favorite. I'm not sure if a battle counts as a fight scene, but the Battle of the Bastards in Game of Thrones, a similar bodies piling onto the camera.
The suffocation?
That's another really good one. But man, there's quite a few. There's gotta be some good ones. Like Warrior has some amazing ones. Warrior really likes to like let the shots go long, so you can really let the stunt performers like really breathe. And like almost all the action heavy characters are being performed by actual martial artists, so they don't have to do like weird camera angles to hide stunt faces. Joe Taslim, who's in Mortal Kombat, he's a Sub-Zero. He plays a big role in Warrior. So that gets you interested. Watch that show, everybody.
James Sims was saying he was really into the Badlands, which I heard that's got a lot of good fight scenes. Yeah,
that show is so good. The only reason why I have a hard time recommending it is because it didn't get an ending. But that one also has some amazing fight scenes. Really fantastic fight scenes in that one. like a lot of what's it called, like that type of like high wire, like Asian, is it like wushu or whatever? I don't know.
I'm honestly not sure. That sounds right, but
Yeah.
could
But
be
yeah,
feng shui. I'm not sure.
it's super amazing. I love that show too. Fantastic performances in that one.
James says, ever since Daredevil, almost every MCU thing has a hallway or confined space fight. I mean,
Which is he's right, but it's the wrong lesson to take from that scene.
yeah.
The lesson to take from that scene is long takes and letting your performers really shine. Like that's the lesson.
My
Rehearsal.
favorite part was just how it was a constant shot. Now and then you see nothing. It's just the hallway. And then he comes out and he's like against the wall fucking trying to catch his breath. And then he turns around and fucking Superman punches somebody in the head. And he's on the ground bleeding, going, like just exhausted. Like, yeah, it was such a good fight. There's so much emotion.
Each season has an amazing like hallway fight.
Yeah.
Like in season 2, they had the one that was like going down the stairs, and that was great. And then in season 3, they had the one in the prison.
I haven't watched season 3 yet.
Dude, it's the best one.
Yeah,
it is the absolute best season there is. It is the quintessential Daredevil that you've always wanted, unless you really care about him having a Daredevil suit, because he completely abandons it for the whole season. Yeah. But it is like if you've ever read like the man with no fear, or the Man Without Fear, like you definitely like Mark Waid stuff. You definitely will love season 3 the best. It is like when I watched it, I didn't know it wasn't gonna get a season 4, and I watched it and I was like, oh my god, we're not gonna get a season 4. If we got a season 4, it would feel wrong. Like it is absolutely like the best season as far as writing goes. The action is really solid too, and Bullseye is amazing.
Yeah. So James Sims says Bullseye was great in season 3, and the end was definitely the best. So yeah, wow, you're not alone in that at all. So I gotta fucking check it out. It's
13 episodes. Get over yourself and watch it. Have you seen Punisher?
Have I seen which?
Punisher?
Most of season 1.
In my opinion, Punisher season 1 and season 2 are the only Marvel seasons on Netflix that didn't suffer from like the mid-season slump, where like where like episode 6 to 10 was like almost useless or super slow and nothing interesting was going on. That's like almost all. I mean, Daredevil season 3 wasn't that bad, but season 1, season 2 had that. Both Iron Fist, both Luke Cage, both Jessica Jones. The Defenders was trash. We don't talk about that. But Punisher had the best pacing out of all the shows.
Nice. Jerome says the rap battle in Legion is pretty awesome.
I haven't seen it.
I want to watch Legion 2. He says, I like how Legions used dance-off or rap battles for the fights happening in his head. That's really interesting. I would want to check that out. Andrew's got a drop. Great stream, guys. DM me that info if you have time, Chuck, and I'll make sure we get something sent out to you. Aw, thank you, buddy. We appreciate that. I'll do an unboxing and everything. You're awesome. Thanks, homie. What a great dude.
I'll come back on and we can unbox it together and we can.
Yeah, right. That'd be cool.
Reaction.
That would be great. I would love that. Yeah, for sure. All right, man. You know what? We've been going for a little while and everyone's kind of getting tired. So, dude, again, tell everyone where they can track you down so they can check out all your cool shit.
Well, if you guys know what Linktree is, you can find me under just Conner Bartel, one word under Linktree, or you just type linktr.ee/Conner Bartel. I know Linktree's great until you have to verbalize it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I kind of shut down my website, so that's where we're going. There, you'll be able to find all my stuff there. You can search me on Google and find my Kickstarters and Comixology and Amazon on there. Google me, bruh.
James Sims called us lightweights. I don't know, man. My
I
edibles
mean,
kicked in big
if we're
time.
getting
So.
to the late night, I'll pull the big boy herb out here, and you know what I mean. We'll go all night.
My edible definitely kicked in. I'm gonna chill out and get me a bite to eat.
All right.
But yeah, thank you so much, everybody. You guys are absolutely amazing. So glad to have you. Next week, I've got editor Katrina Rotes on, so we're gonna have a good old time talking probably about editing. So, Steph, you're gonna love that one. He says editors are just below mimes. Fuck you ahead of time. That's a preemptive fuck you for next week. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Conner, I really appreciate you coming out. I had a really good time. And all you guys out there, you know what's going on. My name is Chuck, and I give a fuck. Take care. Stay safe.